the only people who ever heard him do it were dead. And Jason realized something else. Death has a sense of humor. Because when the song reached the 1 in "For It's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out," the whistling stopped abruptly, and Jason heard a loud thump followed by a scream. And he knew with terrible certainty what would follow, with the 2, and again with the 3. Each strike would be punctuated by another sickening thump and another scream. Yes, Crackerjack had clearly taken his media-given nickname to heart, incorporating it into his work. What a funny guy Death was, Jason now knew. And he knew something else, too. Something the public had learned over the past 11 months. Death has an odd sense of whimsy. Because in addition to broken bones and fractured skulls, Crackerjack's victims had all been found with their faces adorned with skillfully rendered designs, like the ones folks paid for at amusement parks and carnivals, superheroes and fairies, wild animals and cartoon characters. The whole nasty, twisted business sold a lot of newspapers. It was sad, and creepy, and terrifying for Jason, because there was one more thing he knew for certain. When the screaming not far away stopped, Death would come whistling for him. Chapter 2. Jason knew who was screaming not far away. His name was Ian Cobb. Sometime earlier that day, while Jason had been dozing, Crackerjack had brought the man in and chained him up in the horse stall next to Jason's. He'd probably been unconscious, the way Jason had been upon his arrival. When he had woken up, he'd sounded loopy, and even though Jason's own mind was fuzzy, as it was most of the time now, he tried his best to explain the situation to the new captive. At first, Cobb cycled through the same range of emotions that Jason had: confusion, anger, and fear. There was a brief moment of something resembling panic, but he'd calmed himself down soon enough, and they'd started talking. Which wasn't easy for Jason. 12 ounces of water per day was far from enough to keep his throat from becoming a desert road. His tongue felt too large for his mouth. But he talked anyway, pushing past the curtains of fog in his mind to describe his 4 long, hot, hungry, thirsty, sweaty days in this stable before Cobb had arrived. Jason listened, too, trying to pay attention as Cobb talked a little about his life and asked questions about Jason's, but it was difficult to concentrate. His brain felt like sludge. "I heard all about you on the news," Cobb had said. "There were a lot of stories about you." "Is there a reward?" Jason had asked in a voice that cracked like dry twigs. It was a weak attempt at a joke. He didn't imagine there would be a reward in connection with his disappearance, not like there had been for the killer's 4th victim, the handsome, charismatic 24-year-old lead singer of a popular local Boston band that some music magazines had predicted was on the verge of breaking out. The one whose father had become a celebrity in his own right, the owner of a succession of hip and trendy and wildly successful restaurants that boasted a virtual who's who of the rich and famous as a clientele. When it became clear the young man was truly missing and not simply sleeping off a bender somewhere, the father offered $100,000 for information leading to his safe return. When the poor kid was found at a rest area off 91 North with a crushed skull, 22 broken bones, and a face painted to resemble a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the reward doubled. Though with a safe return no longer an option, the money was offered for information leading to Crackerjack's arrest and successful prosecution. And Crackerjack became a household name. "No reward," Cobb had admitted to Jason. "But the media talked all about you, and your wife and son." Mention of his family had caused a tightness in Jason's chest. Sophie and Max were the main reasons he wasn't more hesitant to drink the drug-laced water left for him every day. The foggier his mind was, the less he could think about them, and how much he missed them, about how they might be handling his disappearance. He blinked and felt as though tears wanted to fall, but there didn't seem to be enough moisture in his body to produce them.